Hello dear friends, I'm Samuel Moore and welcome to this week's video lesson. As many of you know, I recently published my first flamenco guitar tutorial book, Flamenco Guitar, Compa Essentials, Soleá. This book and the series it's part of explores the spontaneous nature of flamenco performance. You can find out more about the book via the link in the description below. But in the spirit of generosity, I'd like to share with you a little sneak preview of some of the material from the book today. Specifically, I'm going to show you a simple melodic phrase that can be used on beats 7, 8 and 9 of Soleá's basic compass. The idea you're going to learn sounds like this. Here it is in the context of Soleá's basic compass. And here's the same thing again, but this time with me counting the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. So before we start talking about how to use that melodic phrase in your playing in a spontaneous manner, let's first dig into how to play it. The phrase is very simple. It's basically built around this F13 chord. So it's got the D in there. It's kind of this shape, but with the D in there instead of the C. And in terms of what's happening with this hand, all you're going to do is play rest strokes of the thumb. You're going to start by dragging the thumb down from the 4th string all the way to the open E. You're then going to use the available index finger to hammer on to F and pull off again onto E, thus giving you. You're then going to put that available index finger here onto the note C and slide the pinky across to D sharp, thus allowing you to pull off D sharp, C, B. So far the phrase sounds like this. Then line the available index finger up on the G sharp, so behind this finger, and this allows you to play the A and pull off onto the G sharp. And then you conclude by playing the note F, which is being played by this finger. So the whole phrase sounds like this. So that's the basic phrase. Now, what's the point of me teaching you this? Well, this goes right to the heart of what the book's about. Because the whole purpose of the book is to teach you how to perform flamenco in a more spontaneous manner. And it's long been my view that mastering basic compass ideas and learning to integrate them with other aspects of your playing, such as falsettas and llamadas, is the key to unlocking this side of flamenco. What I'm about to do is describe this concept to you and demonstrate it. I'm not going to teach it to you. That's what the book is for. But basically, if you were playing the basic compass of Soleá, that's essentially the core rhythmic idea that you would keep coming back to again and again in between other structural components when performing. With this in mind, having variety in your compass playing is very important. You can't simply loop the same idea again and again. With this in mind, I always encourage my students to think of compass playing as an exercise in variations on a theme. In other words, simple ideas evolving from one core idea. In the context of Soleá, the core compass idea I often encourage people to start by learning is this. Now that's a perfectly functional compass phrase, but if you were to loop that multiple times, it's going to get very repetitive very quickly. So we need to find ways of varying it in a spontaneous manner when performing. This is where the phrase that I taught you a moment ago, this thing, that's where that comes in. On the phrase I played a moment ago, when we got to beats 7, 8 and 9, I basically played something that sounded like this. And then obviously you cadenced on beat 10 to the classic Soleá closing phrase. But here's the thing, there's nothing to stop you substituting this for the idea you learnt a moment ago. Doing so will add much more variety and interest to your playing. With this in mind, I'm going to demonstrate this right now. I'm going to play the core Soleá Compas idea twice, but the second time I'm going to cut and paste the melodic phrase you learnt a moment ago into beats 7, 8 and 9. Here it is. You see what I mean? Just by changing one detail, already your playing sounds much more sophisticated. Now imagine this. Imagine that you don't just have one variation like that. Imagine you have many for different parts of the core Soleá Compas idea. And imagine you knew how to integrate them into your playing in a spontaneous manner so that every time you loop the compas, it can sound different and interesting. That, in a nutshell, is one of the main lessons I teach in my book. You will explore how to do that. You'll be taught many variations like the one I've just shown you, and you will master spontaneous compas playing as a springboard into playing in a more spontaneous manner more generally. If this sounds good to you, please click the link in the description below and treat yourself to a copy of my new book today. But for now, I leave what I've just taught you in your capable hands.